Ever noticed how easy it is to scroll through social media for an entire hour, but convincing yourself to do a 10-minute workout feels like dragging a boulder uphill? This gap is driven by a biological energy conservation mechanism. Before you even lift a finger, your brain runs a rapid cost-benefit analysis. It constantly calculates the attractiveness of the opportunity in front of you. If a task looks boring, difficult, or unrewarding, your brain suppresses your motivation to do it to save calories. This brings us to a core rule of human behavior, the second law of behavior change: make it attractive. Mastering behavior change requires a focus on the specific metrics the brain uses to calculate that attraction. For decades, we've thought of dopamine as a reward chemical, something you receive only after you eat chocolate or hit a milestone. But the true peak of a dopamine release occurs before an action takes place. It's the anticipation. It's the intense feeling you get while a slot machine is still spinning, before you even know if you've won. This chart maps dopamine in a habit loop. In graph B, the massive peak occurs squarely in the craving phase, driving motivation. In graph D, a delayed reward causes a second spike upon arrival, validating and intensely reinforcing the behavior. Knowing how this works gives us a massive advantage. To build a successful habit, we have to engineer this exact biological spike of anticipation for the tedious tasks we normally avoid. The most practical way to manufacture that anticipation is a psychological strategy called temptation bundling. It acts as a bridge between high dopamine activities you crave and the low dopamine activities you put off. The strategy relies on a simple pairing, an action you want to do with an action you need to do. Let's say you want to catch up on a new streaming show, but you also need to get in shape. You create a rule. You are only allowed to watch that specific show while actively running on a treadmill. Early on, it's just a trick to get you moving, but over time, a conditioning effect takes hold. Your brain begins to associate the physical friction of running with the positive emotions generated by the show. You are taking existing modern vices, like binge-watching new shows, listening to podcasts, or checking sports scores, and using them to fund long-term virtues. But your internal brain chemistry is only half the equation. Our behavior is heavily dictated by the physical layout of our spaces and the people who occupy them. Humans are herd animals. We have a deep evolutionary drive to fit in, to bond, and to earn the respect of our peers. Conforming to the normal behavior of a group feels inherently attractive because historically it kept us safe. When you immerse yourself in a microculture where a difficult task is the standard, it stops feeling like a chore. Take the Polgar sisters. They grew up in a household where an absolute obsession with chess was the rewarded social norm. In their environment, practicing for hours was just what you did to fit in. Habits take root with significantly less friction once you enter a social group where your target behavior is the standard. Achieving a difficult goal doesn't require overhauling who you are. It often just requires changing the room you sit in and the people you sit with. Sustainable habit building has almost nothing to do with raw willpower. It is a game of designing attraction. If you're struggling to make a change, check your toolkit. Pair your difficult tasks with immediate rewards. Change your physical environment to make the right cues obvious. And surround yourself with a culture that normalizes the work. Pick one boring, friction-heavy habit in your life right now. Then commit to applying just one of these attraction mechanisms to it today. Lasting success belongs to the people who stop fighting their brain's natural wiring and instead step back to become the architects of their own desires.